Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Noisy Neighbours podcast. I'm here with my brother again. We're talking about the potential signing of Viktor Gyökeres to Manchester United from Sporting Lisbon, Ruben Amorim's ex-club. We want to get into Gyökeres. We want to look at the statistical output. We know he scored loads of goals. How is that going to translate to the Premier League? We want to look at him against Hojlund. We want to look at what does this look like for Amorim? I mean, will he be under massive pressure to get this to work? All this is coming up in a minute. Let's get it, Christian. Okay, yes, people, here we are tonight, Christian. We're going to talk about Viktor Gyökeres, Sporting Lisbon striker. Obviously, Ruben Amorim had him at his last club. He moved mid-season, and Gyökeres went on to score 50 goals in all competitions. This goal scoring of his has lasted 2 years now after leaving the Championship from Coventry. I want to talk about him as a player and what we think he would look like in a United team. Obviously, he's used to the system. That's another thing. And the amount of goals is just insane. I mean, what do you think about a Portuguese striker scoring 50 goals for 2 seasons straight, by the way? I mean, surely something's going to come across to the Prem. He's a big lad. Like, what do you think?
Yeah, this Gyokeres one is very strange, isn't it? Because similar to that, we've just done a video on my team signing Ryan Cherky for an exceptionally low fee and, seemingly had limited amount of suitors. And this one is quite a similar situation. I want to spin it on you, Alex. What do you think the reason is for seemingly these, not many clubs are going in for him? Arsenal seem the perfect fit. They've moved their attention to Sesko, and now the rumours are Italy, I think Inter Milan and Manchester United. Why do you think this is? Do you think it's a trust thing with that league?
No. I think Arsenal and potentially Chelsea, well, not potentially Chelsea because they've gone and got the lap, but say Ekitike is also being mentioned, a young striker, another one that's young, early 20s, Sesko's early 20s, Delap's early 20s. They are going for potential. Now, anybody that's watched the channel knows how I feel about this. The difference is Viktor Gyökeres is 27. And he is quote-unquote proven. I appreciate he's not played in the Prem, but neither's Sesko, neither's Ekitike, and neither has Delap's played 1 season for Ipswich. So I think this is a case of Sesko and Delap feel like Hojlund buys, Gyökeres doesn't. Now, that doesn't mean if United sign Gyökeres, he's going to be better, because I don't know. Nobody knows. But I'm looking at, if Man United went and got Sesko, I would just immediately be thinking of Hojlund again. He's got, 10, 12 goals in a weaker league. It's going to cost 80 million that Arsenal want. Arsenal are doing it because Arsenal are doing Sesko because they think he's going to improve. They're banking on this. Man United bought Hojlund thinking he's going to improve.
Yeah, we know where that can get you.
Now, the difference with Gyökeres is all I want is 80% of it to translate. And that might not happen. And there's no guarantee. Like you said, he has played in the Championship with Coventry, and people love to bring that up. And that's like the negative argument to Gyökeres is that, well, why was he in the Championship 3 years ago? And I don't know the answer to that. Is my honest. I don't know why he was in the Championship at that age. However, strikers do develop a little bit slower sometimes, and sometimes you get bounced around. He's had multiple loan deals. I'm looking here. He was at Swansea, then he was at Coventry, then he was at Coventry for real. 2 years at Coventry, okay. 17 goals first season, and then 21 goals the following season, and then Lisbon went and got him. Then you had the explosion of 29 in 33 league, and then this season 39 in 33 is absolutely ridiculous numbers. I honestly don't know. I don't know whether people are looking at this going, we want 10 years of Sesko, not 5 years of Gyökeres.
Can I just say something on that, Alex, with the whole not trusting it because he's been in the Championship relatively recent? Well, I'll tell you what about Jamie Vardy, because he became one of the Premier League great strikers. Like it or lump it, people might laugh at that, but his numbers were phenomenal, and it can happen. this can happen. I don't think it's a very risky game to play. Going, oh well, the signing looks better if we go and sign Sesko because he's younger and his ceiling could be higher. These are all very dangerous things because, like you said, Alex, this is exactly what Manchester United did with Rasmus Hojlund. We see where this can get you. Also, Sesko, how old is Benjamin Sesko, by the way?
I think he's 22?
He's 22. Okay, so he's 22, and what did he get, 12 or 13 goals last season in Bundesliga?
22, Benjamin Sesko He got 14 last season. He got 13 this season in similar games.
13, right. I think the big worry with Sesko is that if you're not blowing the Bundesliga apart, we have seen strikers blow the Bundesliga apart, and then they've come to England and they couldn't do it. Werner is a big one, and Kunku has really, really struggled. Now, I think if you're Manchester United, this is the move you have to go and make. It makes sense. He knows the system. He knows Amorim. Amorim will trust him. I believe it's probably Amorim's dream signing, by the way. And I think it really transitions United. Look, from a City fan, I can only give my point of view. Now, I'm happy him go. I don't want this to sound patronising, any United fans listening, but I am much happier at the prospect of Gyokeres going to Man United, knowing where they finished last season, than I am him going to a Liverpool. Because if he goes to Liverpool or he goes to Arsenal, and he is, like you say, even anywhere near close to what we're seeing him do at his current team, the rest of the league is fucked. So that's why I'm happy with that. And I just don't get it. I think for the fee being rumoured as well, is it not the sensible option?
It is the sensible option. Another person you mentioned, you made some really good points there about players who have took a little bit longer to develop. You know, this is a real ironic one, that Ollie Watkins 5 years ago was in the Championship for Brentford. 6 years ago. He's 29 now. So Gyokeres and Ollie Watkins, ironically, the same club actually bid for said Ollie Watkins in January for 60 million to get you Gyokeres. Obviously, this is Arsenal. Don't really care about them. I think it's a terrible move, by the way. Sesko for 80 million. If they do that, they're idiots. I know it's going to go down the Hojlund route. Put it this way. There's a slim chance, if somebody did go and get Ekitike, Delap and Sesko, I think you'd be lucky for one of them to work out and actually propel a team to winning the league. Never mind two. So 3 of them ain't going to work. There's no way. So whereas Gyokeres, if he scores half the amount of goals, he's going to score 18 goals. Half. The guy has to know where the net is. This is the thing where Sesko's never done it. He's never done it.
No, exactly.
This is the thing with Ollie Watkins. You mentioned Vardy. Ollie Watkins scored 26 goals in the Championship. You go, okay, well, it's 26 goals in a league below. But he scored 26 goals.
Yeah.
He did. He knows where the net is. You've got to know where the net is for that. Viktor Gyökeres has scored 39 league goals this year. He's scoring more than one a game. So this is the thing. Hojlund, well, he got 10. And I'm going to come to this in a minute with the improvement and the potential shit, where I don't know what happened with fans and pundits, where you are 21 years old, you're only going to get better and better and better and better and better. Where did this come from?
Yeah.
Have we forgot about the millions of footballers that were quite good at 21 and never improved at all? Where is this thing gone?
You're so right, Alex.
The good now. He's 20. Look at him. He's doing really well. I bet you any money, Christian, there's more players that got worse after an amazing season at 2021. Yeah. I bet you there is.
Of course there would be. Alex, history tells us this. You think back to the old days. When I supported Manchester City when I was a young lad, we were really not a good side. And I remember I cried myself to sleep because we sold Sean Wright-Phillips to Chelsea, and he was my favourite player at the time. Now, back in this day, we're seeing like you just said, does that mean because Chelsea signed him, he was going to go on to amazing things? No, he stayed the same. City really got the best of him, and he went there. It was never a good move. Not a good move for him. Wasn't a good move for Chelsea. And this is what we're seeing now. But the thing is, Alex, them fees used to be like 20 million punts. I know, obviously, economically things have changed, I understand. But now these punts are 80 million. It's devastating for clubs to be getting these wrong. I tell you what, Arsenal, right? This is why this signing is huge. I will go as far as saying, I think this Sesko one, if this goes through, I think this costs Arteta his job. I genuinely think this is the nail in the coffin for him.
It's Hojlund for Ten Hag. Yeah, I totally agree. I think as well, Christian. I just want to talk about the feeling of this. They're going to get better and better. You know what it is, and there's a main culprit, and we're going to come to him as well. He's got his little vibe with five shit. Rio Ferdinand, one of the best centre backs I've ever seen my club employ. I thought Rio was absolutely world class, and I think everybody did. He was an amazing centre back. That guy, he is like a child on TikTok. He did an epic. This is obviously not related to Garnacho, but I just want to focus on something he said. He said, Garnacho somebody's gonna get Garnacho. He's gonna get better and better and better. He's just gonna get better. That was his exact words. He's just gonna get better. Sorry, why? Why is he just going to get better? Because I bet everybody said this about Hojlund. Everyone said this about Martial. Martial had a Ballon d'Or. I loved Martial. But Martial's best season, I bet you, if you probably don't remember it as well as me, but I bet you most United fans would go, Martial's best season was probably his first. I know he had other moments, maybe the COVID one, but Martial, everyone will have gone, oh my God, this guy's come in at 19. He scored on his debut against Liverpool. Was amazing. What's he going to look like at 28? Do you know what he looks like at 28, Christian? Completely washed at AEK Athens.
Yeah.
What about Marcus Rashford? He's just going to get better and better and better and better. He can't get someone to buy him for 40 million. Aston Villa have just sent him back. So we've got this thing with like Garnacho. We've got this now with Sesko. We're going to have it with Ekitike. We're going to have all these things where it's like, well, just the 20, so they're going to just continue to get better till they turn into Ronaldo. Doesn't work.
No.
It makes me so angry. Like, what have you... A perfect example is another Arsenal player, Gabriel Martinelli. 2 seasons ago, he scored 15 league goals and got about 6 assists at 21 years old. Was he 20? I don't even know. He was young. Everyone's like, oh my God. Well, if he continues to get better and better and better, he'll be like Messi. Yeah. What's happened?
That was to replace him.
That he's regressed a little bit, and now he's turned into a 7-8 goal a season winger that he probably is. It actually pains me. People just say things with chest. He's on there, Rio Ferdinand, one of the best centre backs for my club. He's sitting up there going, a player's 21, so he's gonna just get better forever. Where do you know this come from?
Do you know what's more alarming, Alex? Is he come from an era of football, and he was a professional footballer, an elite professional footballer, I might add, and he played in one of the best sides to ever grace the fucking Prem. Why would he come out with a comment like that? He knows the way academies work. He knows that. So what? Every player that showed a little bit of potential at United, was that his opinion on him, or really was he like? Was he nailing him? I tell you what, if they were acting like Garnacho, he'd have been fucking nailing him. So this is the thing. I don't know why he's now become.
It has to come, Christian, from Cristiano. He's like the one who continued to get better till he's 26. Cristiano Ronaldo is one of the best players in history of football. Some people think he is the best player in history of football. Yeah. And you are applying a rule where Cristiano Ronaldo got better from 19 to 20 to 21 to 22 to 23 to 24 to 25 even.
You're talking and then 1 in a million.
So we're talking about, okay, yes, you did play with him, Rio, but what about everybody else that you played with? Rooney was amazing. Did Rooney get that much better from 21 onwards? I would argue Rooney's best season was probably when he was about 20, 21, 22.
Alex, and this is the thing. I don't really know why people say this, because at 21, 22, I believe you are at your peak physically.
Well-formed, yeah.
Yeah, so you aren't really going to get any better physically. The only way, see, there's certain positions I could buy into that you could get better with age. I'd say goalkeeper would be one. I would say centre-back would be another. Midfielder, a centre mid as well, right? Because your reading of the game would increase and you could become a significantly better footballer. However, right, your explosive left wingers, your explosive right wingers, your centre forwards, what you see at 21, I'd arguably say what you see from 21 onwards is pretty much what you're going to get. They're not really going to go on and explode from that point, I don't think. Yes, of course, and I know people in the comments, you can find some anomalies, of course. I'm just talking about, on a whole, if you go round and you have a rounded overall view on this, you will find more that pretty much stayed within the same region of what their ability was, or if not regressed, like you said. Martinelli's a perfect example. I for the life of me, I just don't know why a lot of these ex-players would have this opinion, especially one as with the calibre of Rio.
So anyway, we got off subject a little bit because the Rio comment was regarding Garnacho. However, Christian, I have got something that brings us back to Gyökeres, who the video's about.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can tell from my tone of voice. I think a 27-year-old striker who has scored nearly 100 goals in 2 seasons is the way everybody should be going. I have no idea why the other clubs aren't. I really am desperate for United to pull this off. I just want to talk to you about a tweet that I've seen today. And it's got the usual 2,000 likes. So 2,000 people have read this and are as stupid as the guy that wrote it. This is brilliant because I'm actually quoting here word for word. So somebody has said, United need sales, here's the man for them, and they've posted a gif of Hojlund. So this guy has seen his arse and he's quoted it and he's gone, these things are just idiotic and got to stop. Besides it being embarrassing, it's a part of a problem at Manchester United. Selling Hojlund is a part of a problem at Manchester United. Okay, some reasons why. We're talking about signing Viktor Gyökeres, who is born in 1998. Hojlund is born in 2003. So there's 5 years between the two players. And here we go. This is brilliant, this, because he said it's idiotic. And I'm going to read out what idiotic is. The same age as Rasmus was this season, Gyökeres scored 7 goals in 26 games in the Bundesliga 2. The following season, Gyökeres scored 0 goals at Swansea. He then scored 3 at Coventry, and then he went on to score 17 goals in 45 games for Coventry. That would be Hojlund's 2026 season.
Yeah.
Right. This is ironic because this guy is apparently saying selling Hojlund is idiotic. Do you want me to tell you what idiotic is? It's grabbing player A, not even going to name names, comparing his trajectory to player B and saying this is why player A is going to get better. It is insanity. It's even if you got two prototypes who were almost identical in play style, athleticism, style of play, it is still nonsense. Stop it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what Gyökeres did when he was 15, 16, 17. It matters what they're doing now. So what you're saying to me is, this is how stupid this tweet is. Viktor Gyökeres only started scoring 30 a season when he was 25. So what he's saying is a completely different striker in Rasmus Hojlund might do the same.
Yeah.
Just, Christian.
Well, I just want to piggyback on that, Alex. So, in the notion of what he's saying, he's basically, he could sit in front of us or come on here and with a straight face tell us that, yes, because he had better numbers at that age, he is going to score 50 when he's 27 in a year. Yeah. Well, I tell you what, if Rasmus Hojlund scores 50 goals in a season, I'll pull my pants down and I'll jump off a fucking bridge.
Yeah. No, so, I'll do the same. I'll jump off the other side.
So, yeah.
This is the thing of how it doesn't actually matter about statistics. You are never, unless you get twins, I'd tell you the only person it could work with is, do you remember when we had those twins, Raphael and Fabio? If you actually went, well, Raphael's he's gone on to do decent things. What about Fabio might do the same? He is his twin brother. He's got the same DNA, same mother and father. I'd actually go, right, okay, maybe you might be on.
Yeah, you can see how they've got to it.
But you are pulling players from, where do you stop? Well, I bet Martinelli, I just said he got 15 goals, didn't he, at 21? Well, so what you're saying to me is Martinelli scored more league goals than Cristiano Ronaldo in the same league at 21. So what, Martinelli's going to go on to score 1,000 then? No, it doesn't work like that because Martinelli is Martinelli, Cristiano is Cristiano. You're comparing nonsense fucking stats. Stop it. Let's look at Viktor Gyökeres as an individual. He's an individual striker who is 27 years old and he scored 100 goals in 2 years. Let's look at Rasmus Hojlund. He's just scored 4 league goals in a full season. Stop telling me that because a random guy did this at 25, that's going to have any bearing on Rasmus Hojlund. It won't. If Rasmus Hojlund goes on to be better, that's because Rasmus Hojlund has got better. Not because Zlatan did this when he was 20, and not because Suarez did this when he came to Liverpool. It's bollocks. I can't tell you how stupid people are that think this.
Yeah, Alex, we see it all the time as well. Like, the fan base at City do the same shit when we've signed certain players. I remember Ferran Torres, and they were like comparing his numbers to like all-time greats, and it's like, why are you doing it? Because you're equally not going to pull up some other Valencia kid who had good numbers that went on to be shit. So you can't use it as and when it suits you. You know what I mean? It does, and there's certainly more examples of where, yes, they had good numbers at this point, but they went on and it was shite after it. Because that is just how football works. And most people cannot sustain that level of growth, and they really, you might see the best of them at 21, 22, and that is what we come accustomed to in football these days. And yeah, I think just going back onto Gyökeres, Alex, and the potential signing of him, though, I think if Man United can sell, look, I've seen quite a lot of rumours that Inter are in for Hojlund. If that is true, you've got to get him out the door, and you have got to move on Gyökeres straight away, because it's a no-brainer, right? So say we're wrong collectively, me and my brother, and he does go on to do great things, right? Them great things will be back in Serie A, so the fucking same question marks would remain unless he comes back to the Prem and really proves us wrong. I see it as an absolute no-brainer. If you could con Inter Milan and they can give you even a fraction back of what you paid, it's a low fee to trigger him to get him out of Sporting. And look what the level he's currently performing at. Even if you get half of that output, it significantly transformed Manchester United. Rasmus Hojlund cannot score goals. His confidence is probably one of the worst. He is not a Manchester United player, get that right. I tell you what, it is the reason he is a Manchester United player shows where they are in the league and why they are where they are in the league. So it's for me, it's an absolute no-brainer. Amorim needs to move on this.
I totally agree. I mean, that's the thing. If we just separate what we think of Hojlund as a football player and his actual ability, touch, dribbling, heading. By the way, he's the worst header of the ball I've ever seen in my life. He can't even read the flight of the ball. You don't even look at it. So how is he going to win headers? Anyway, that's a separate point. You just said it perfectly there. The confidence, it's the mentality. He is just completely collapsed. This is the thing where Rasmus Hojlund is 22 now. So Rasmus Hojlund at 21, Christian, he came to England and he got 10 league goals in 30 games, a few sub appearances. Yeah, he's going to get better and better and better and better. He's 21 apparently. Whoa, hang on a minute. Comes back the next year. Now you get some intangibles that actually mean something. You've got defenders working you out a little bit. You've got maybe defenders doing a bit of homework. You've got confidence. You've got your mentality. You've got 75,000 people groaning when you miscontrol it. How do you respond to that? These are intangibles that feed into this. It's not just, he's 21, he's going to get better till he fucking retires, because that's just what idiots think. Now, the thing is with Hojlund, I'm looking at his career stats here. This is career, by the way. This is including a load of games for Copenhagen, Sturm Graz in Austrian Bundesliga, and obviously Atalanta that condos into buying him. Rasmus Hojlund has made 131 league appearances in his career. He's 22 years old. He scored 32 goals. Viktor Gyökeres scored 39 goals this season in the Portuguese league. Yeah, Rasmus Hojlund in his career has scored 7 less league goals than Gyökeres did this year. Now, obviously, you're going to get the morons that go, well, he was at Coventry when Hojlund was at Thingy, which makes, I've just been through that. Just rewind it 5 minutes and you might learn something if you think that. I'm assuming if you've got to this point of the video, you agree with me and my brother. This is the point where Viktor Gyökeres has shown me he knows where the net is. Yeah. Rasmus Hojlund never has. I'm just going to go through it, Christian. These are his league seasons going back to, this is 5 years ago, so that would have been 17 years old. 0 in 4, 0 in 15, 6 in 13, 3 in 5, 9 in 32, 10 in 30, 4 in 32. So Hojlund has cracked double figures once in his career. That was last year, actually, and it was 10. So Hojlund is 22 years old and he's cracked double figures once in his career, and he's played a bunch of games in the Danish league, the Austrian league, and in Serie A and the Prem. So I'm looking at Viktor Gyökeres and I'm going, well, at least he did score 20 in the Championship. Would Hojlund score 20 in the Championship, Christian? Answer me that.
No, not this current version of Hojlund. Not from what we're seeing right now. And this is what I just wanted to touch on this, Alex. It's not a hate on Hojlund episode at all. It's just more a direct comparison, and there is genuinely United fans out there that say no, we shouldn't go and sign him because we have Hojlund, and this is where I would find this a madness, an absolute abomination. Go and watch Gyokeres, right? So you can question mark the league and all that stuff. We know that, and there's question marks on everyone in terms of that. You know, Liverpool are spending 150 million on Wirtz. We've just gone and signed Turkey. There is always going to be that question mark. It's the unknown, right? Sure. But what you can do is you can go and watch Gyökeres play football currently, right? And one thing you've got with a striker is he instinctively is miles better than Hojlund ever will be. Do you know why? Because he can receive the ball. There's one particular goal we just watched on just highlights. You sent me the clip at Lille. His head's down, instinctively swivels, knows where that bottom corner is. Hojlund can't. He does not have the perception. He has no attacking awareness. Hojlund looks... I remember he got that open net and he nearly missed. It was the other way. It was not too long ago. And he instinctively panicked because the chance was there. That is so bad, right? And I know that's a lot to do with confidence. The thing is with them kind of players, Gyokeres, where he has that instinct and his head's down, but he knows where that fucking net is. He knows where the corners are. That is because he's just a better striker. So it doesn't matter whether he was banging him in at Coventry. He has been banging him in for the last 2 years now at a serious rate. And even with his head down, he knows how to play. He knows how to play that position, and he's a fucking nuisance. Listen, we played him in the Champions League, so all this thing of saying, oh, well, you know, he did it at Coventry, played in the Championship a couple of years ago. Well, we weren't playing a Championship team when he played City, was he? And he absolutely destroyed us. So, for me, personally, I don't understand it, and if there is any United fans out there that want to tell us why they reckon, no, we should keep Hojlund and run it back for another year, listen, well, you know, I'd like to hear the opinion on it, but I think you really need to look at this and think, you want to progress your team forward. You have a guy there that currently is hitting numbers that you're telling me that Hojlund might do, right? But what are you basing that on? Because all we have seen in his career, Alex, you just read his numbers, is that of a bang average striker. And that's a compliment, by the way, because to be fair, I could go worse and say a below average, right? So even if you're being complimentary to him, he's average at best. And that is all he's ever shown you that he can be. So unless he does something that we have never seen and it comes out of the blue totally for him and for everyone else watching him, then it will never make sense. So that is why you need to go and move on that. And it's just crazy to me that no other team is going in for Gyokeres currently.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree, Christian. I mean that's the thing on and also I just want to piggyback on some of your comments there on the Champions League. He also has scored 10 in 7 for Sweden last calendar year in 2024. I think he top scored in the Nations League that Portugal have just won. So this goal scoring, this explosion of goals, it has come. It's Champions League. International. This guy, you put it in the box, he knows where the net is. I've seen it. I've watched his goals. Yes, there's a lot of pens. He scored 50 goals. I mean, let's face it. Even if he scored 15 pens, which I don't know off the top of my head, that's still 35 goals in all comps in open play. I think he slapped a free kick in on one video I was watching. Look, this guy, is he technically fantastic? No. The touch can be a little bit heavy. Sometimes that layoff doesn't come. But to me, it looks like he's got the mentality for it, where it's like, almost like Haaland in a way. And I'm not saying he's on the level of Haaland, but it's that similar player where, you know, somebody wraps it into Haaland in the first 10 minutes, heavy touch, a few groans around the stadium at the Etihad. You may be watching like, come on, get a grip of it. But Haaland, that's gone. He's got 2-second memory. Because he knows the ball will come into the box, and that's when my game starts. Yeah. And I get the same thing with Gyökeres, where it's like, he's going to have that doff touch because he's 6'2". He's built like a brick shithouse. He's not going to be like a Suarez or an Aguero or a Rooney. But when I've seen of Gyökeres, it's like when that ball goes into the box, that's when he comes alive. And it's like you said, that goal against Lille, didn't even look up, bangs it in the bottom corner. Yeah. The tap-ins, the headers. We don't see any of this with Hojlund. Hojlund can't sniff chances out in the box. His movement's shit. He's awful in the air. This isn't me hating on Hojlund. He's statistically terrible in the air. Look at the aerial duel percentage. I think it's the worst in the league. So you're going from a guy, look, at the end of the day, who, like you said, there's risk attached to everything. I remember I mentioned Suarez then. Oh, but he's done it for Ajax. That isn't going to translate. But the thing is, for every Mateo Kejman, you do get the odd Suarez. Yeah. And Kejman was the same. He went to Chelsea. He had a better goal rate than Suarez. Yeah. Suarez comes to the Prem. Fuck me. You see, you know what I'm saying? So you don't know what you're getting, but I'm going to put all my chips on the guy that I have seen score 30 league goals than the one I've seen score 10.
Yeah, for sure. I think, look, the level he comes in at as well, I fully agree with you, Alex, on that. I think that's a huge thing for a striker as well. A lot of strikers where they have that fragile mindset. Forget Hojlund's general ability, which I just think is miles off anyway. Yeah. and anyone with a pair of eyes can fucking see that. Even if he does kick on, there is a serious question mark over how fragile he is up there.
Yeah.
Because I think we can all see with our eyes now, he's struggling to wear that shirt. He's struggling being Manchester United's number 9, and sometimes, he keeps showing up, but I just think it's getting worse for him. I genuinely, this isn't even a hate on him. I do think the move is the best thing for him.
Yeah.
Rebuild yourself somewhere else, mate, and look, whether I think you're any good or not, surely you know for yourself that this is not the best place for you to improve your game. Because now, even the biggest of Hojlund optimists, they're slowly getting onto him now. And to be fair, Alex, people support him online a little bit more, but the ground doesn't lie, does it? You know, when there's 70,000 at OT, and they're like, "Fuck me," and you can hear the groans, you can hear how dejected they are, and he knows that, and that's what's killing him. That is what is killing this lad. And I genuinely believe the best thing for him is to move away, go somewhere else. I genuinely think he can probably make a career for himself in Serie A. But we've seen Serie A's level in terms of strikers over there. So, he probably could. But, listen,
you make a great point on the fans. Just before you move on, I just want to say I was at the last league game of the season, and the Emi Martinez got a straight red for fouling Hojlund one-on-one. And just talking off what the fans actually talk about, the match-going fans, I don't have a season ticket. I took my son to the last game of the season as a father-son day out. It turned out to be a great day, actually. And the chatter, when Emi Martinez took him out, this is like around where I was just happened to be sitting, was Martinez should not have done that. They should have let him round him. He would have missed the open net. This is what people are saying about Hojlund, who go every week. These are season ticket holders. This is what they see every week. You know, this isn't what you or me might watch on TV. So, look, I think you make a fantastic point there on the match-going fans see every second. But he's got to move on. He's got to, for it, like you said, it's actually a hard watch at the moment. Just before we wrap up, Christine, I just want to talk one more thing on this. I appreciate we've gone off on a few tangents, which was my fault, but that Rio Ferdinand thing really fucked me off, so apologies for that. If you're still with us, what do we think about Ruben Amorim and the pressure now? Because, let's face it, he's had a bit of an easy ride considering how bad the performances have been. You, me, loads of people have been going, well, the players are shit, right? Okay, well, Cunha's in, and Buemo looks like it's going to be in, and now Viktor Gyökeres is his striker, and the stats are impressive. Again, we don't know how they're going to translate, but the pressure is going to be on Amorim because people are going to go, and rightly so. You've picked a full front three, which was the big issues last year. I know we've still got other issues, but how much pressure do you think Ruben Amorim is on to show something now if Gyokeres and Buemo come across with Cunha?
He's under huge pressure. I mean, for the way last season ended, you only need to turn to look at Tottenham and what they've just got rid of Ange, you know what I mean? And they actually beat Manchester United in that final. So yeah, the pressure is absolutely monumental on him, and he's got to start fast. Do you know what? I'll give you a bit of a bold take here from me, because I actually have rated Amorim from the start, and I'm going to make a prediction. I do genuinely think Amorim will be the guy to turn it round at United. I'm not saying you're going to go and win titles or anything in the near future. I do believe he's the right guy. Do you know why? I think his approach to certain situations has been really good. I think he speaks remarkably. Yes, there's questions over his tactics, but I think if you look at the players he's got at his disposal, it made last season next to impossible. He was dealing with a lot of shit within that squad. He has made some really impressive signings. I think Cunha is a great signing. You know what I think about him, Buemo. Really smart move for United. I genuinely believe he's taking you in the right direction. I do think you need to be patient with him. However, look, we can't skip past how bad last season was. And it was terrible, make no mistake. And that is where he has sort of burnt his bridges to a certain extent. And this is why it's imperative he needs to start fast. And this team needs to click. But Man United you've got to be relieved, mate. How do you feel at the end of the day, for the first time as a Man United fan, you're actually seeing your club act like a proper fucking team, buy in good players from the year just gone in the Prem. You've seen him, Buemo tore it up. You've seen Cunha, you know his level. It must feel good.
I'm absolutely over the moon with Mbeumo and Cunha. I think they're absolutely fantastic pickups by United. And if we got Gyökeres over the line, I would be so excited for the season. And my expectations on Amorim is forget position. I think you've asked me in the past, well, what position, where United going to come, and I will have to make a prediction before we go into August of where I think United should come, whatever I think. But what I'm talking about now is I want to see progress. I want to see offense. I want to see this team creating. I want us to go to Anfield with Gyökeres, Cunha, and Mbeumo and go to City and actually go toe to toe to a degree with them and go, we can score 2 today. We can score 3 if we have a good day. This is what I want to see from Amorim. I want to see progression, a bit of entertainment. If that is 8th, it's 8th. If it's 6th, brilliant. We cannot be doing this. We can't score a goal shit because you have now got, maybe you might get your full front 3 in one summer. It'd be an amazing window for us to get. You mentioned about Cherky, Marmoush and Haaland having so many goals and assists. It just I've not got the numbers in front of me, but Gyökeres 39, and Mbeumo 20, and Cunha 16, was it, in the all-league goals?
Yeah, I think Mbeumo was 24, wasn't it?
So you're looking at, what, 70 league goals between them three. Appreciate, obviously, a lot of them has come from the Portuguese league, but still, we scored 44 as a team last season in 38 games. We were abysmal.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at it, I think, well, Cunha is about 50 times better than Garnacho. Gyökeres is about 100 times better than Hojlund. And Mbeumo pushes Ahmad back a little bit. I'm not saying we're going to gain much, but Ahmad at right wing back might be good for us as well. We've got to see that, I appreciate. But so in answer to your question, I'm absolutely over the moon. And I do think if we have these front 3 in August for game 1, I want to see something from Ruben Amorim. And if he doesn't, he is going to come under serious pressure.
Yeah,
forget losing. Forget the results, Christian. It's about, does the team play decent stuff and scoring goals? And obviously, he's got to win games as well.
The biggest thing for Amorim, you touched on it yourself, is bringing that excitement back. Old Trafford became an absolute dungeon last season of misery. Every game was like, no matter who you were playing, you expected shit. Every single match, he's got to change that. And that has got to change, Alex, from minute 1. The first game of next season, that cannot happen anymore. Because you don't last long in the job there if that's the atmosphere at Old Trafford. So, but I do genuinely believe they are the correct signings. And look, I think it's exciting times. You think of this, Alex. You finished, 14th last year? Is that where you ended up? Was that your final position?
15th. Maybe it might have been 15th, I think.
14th, 15th, whatever, anyway, right? So a very low league position. We know the season Man United are. If you'd have said, if I'd have come to you at the end of last season, I'd have gone, right, Alex, after the season you've had, you're going to take Gyokeres, the best striker in Portugal, putting up numbers currently no one else is in Europe. Then you're also going to take Mbeumo, who was in both of our teams of the season. I mean, you've got to say his GA contribution is probably one of the best wingers in the league. And then you're also going to take Cunha, who me and you both also put in team of the season, and is probably one of the better players in the league. If you'd have said that, you'd have been like, fuck off. And there's no way I believe it. And not only that, the players you're shipping out are players with fucking bad attitudes in Garnacho, Rashford, and looking like you could actually recoup some good money.
Yeah, that you're right, mate. 100%. Look, I think I said to you probably 3-4 months ago that the first 3 signings should be all attackers. And look, the club seem to be acting in that way. And I'm over the moon, to be honest. I really, really, really want to see Gyökeres come in. The issue is financially with United. We know the issues around that. We're still paying for shit transfers from years gone by. And we've unfortunately not been able to sell anyone yet. So again, that's hindering us. However, can we do some wiggle? Is there a wiggle room with this? Can we get Gyökeres in and worry about shifting Rashford later? I know it's a risk because I tell you what, honestly, Christian, to the point where I'd accept an 8-point deduction to get Gyökeres in. If we failed PSR because we didn't sell Rashford but got Gyökeres in, I honestly think it'd be worth it in the long run.
Well, Forest did.
Look at Forest. Forest showed you the model. So look, I totally agree, Christian. It looks like United could have a brand new front 3 this season. We've only got 1 in the door, though, so I'm not counting my chickens just yet. But yeah, look, I'm really excited by this. And don't talk yourself into thinking Hojlund might be good because a random player did something at 25 and he might do the same. Please Just don't listen to some of these idiot pundits.
Yeah.
They are just fucking stupid. Thank you for listening, guys. Thanks for joining us, Christian, and we will see you on the next one.